Joining us now, a man who knows all this. He's been studying this hot and heavy for over a year. Republican Senator from South Carolina, Tim Scott. Senator, we want to give people a perspective from the police officer. We know you're talking about police reform. What should they know about what you're working on?
Well, Brian, first thing we should say is thank God for people who put on the uniform. This is National Police Week, so there's no better time for us to say thank you to an officer. So when you see an officer around your neighborhoods, around the streets, please stop and say thank you to those officers. Two of my brothers from another mother, my mentors, kids, both are deputies, and so it's really important for us to take that time. What they should know about what we're doing in Congress is taking first into consideration the important work that they do and making sure that we keep our officers safe. If you want communities to be safe, you have to have officers who are not thinking about their personal liability or their assets as they run into harm's way. That is one of the reasons why, for qualified immunity, I have been for the last year open for putting more of the onus on the municipalities, on the counties, on the state, and taking it off of the officers. That, to me, is the way that we continue to tell the officers that we need them going into harm's way without having to have an additional level of exposure from a liability perspective.
Senator, crime's going through the roof all across the country, and academies are emptying out, and people are retiring rapidly. You're going to see a massive exodus in June here because of the overtime. They try to leave with the most overtime to retire with the most money. On May 25th, the Democrats said they want to see something. Some of the things that you talked to me about: qualified immunity. You talk about suing the precinct, not the person. You talk about the no-knock warrants, and you talk about the no chokeholds. What else should police officers and the citizens think that you're going to know that you're going to be talking about with Democrats?
Well, you mentioned two other issues. Number one, one that is really important is Section 242, which is making it easier. They're looking to lower that threshold. I said that is a no-go for me. Section 242 is a criminal element in police reform. I am not interested in that whatsoever. The other one is what you just mentioned about having the right equipment. That Section 1033 is the military equipment that can go to police offices. I think it's important for us, having run a county with a sheriff's department myself previously, it's really important for us to make sure they have the tools necessary. There's a list that's already been banned, and re-establishing that same list is fine with me, but having that MRAP or those pieces of equipment or vehicles that bring officers safely into harm's way to get them and the other innocent folks out of harm's way is something that I completely support and will continue to support. So those are really the top 5 issues. You just named them that we're working on, and then the devil's in the detail. We need to read every line, every letter, every word to make sure that there's not something sneaking in the back door. I'd rather have no deal than a bad deal.
I hear you. 2 things. Training. Smaller stations, smaller precincts don't have the money, and they got to pay them more. And if you want federal money, help on both those things. Number 2, when people say defund the police, and we know this, Democrats and the squad members keep saying it, reimagining, getting rid of, they're irreconcilable. What are you going to do about that sentiment, Senator? Can you deal with that?
Well, the way I deal with defund the police is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Having lived in grew up in a single-parent household in poverty, we always want police officers around when necessary, especially to keep our moms safe. So that's really important. So that is off the table, for my opinion. And we need to provide more resources, more money. Bottom line, when I say resources, I mean money coming into especially our smaller departments and even our mid-sized departments, so that the training to intervene and the training on de-escalation, all those training dollars are incredibly important. We don't need less money for the police. We need more.
Keep your eye on this. I know you're used to nothing getting done in Washington, but Senator Tim Scott's different, and I think if anyone can do it, you can do it. Senator, thanks so much.
Thanks. Have a good day.
All right.